As Ty said, we're going to talk about the story where Jesus is on the cross and he takes care of his mother. But as we think about that, I read a story recently of two paddle boats going down the Mississippi River. They started out basically the same location, and as they were traveling, as men tend to do, they started talking back and forth from boat to boat. And as they were talking, they started mouthing off to each other like men tend to do. And they would start bragging about how fast their boat was compared to the other boat. And pretty soon, a bet was made. Our boat will reach New Orleans before yours does. And so they began to wager, and they began to up the coal going into the burners so that their boat would go faster and faster. One boat began to pull ahead a little bit, and so the other boat decided, man, we got to put even more coal in. Well, pretty soon the boat that was shoveling more and more coal in began to realize that they had a problem. You see, they had enough coal to last them to get to New Orleans at a regular pace. But they didn't have enough coal to get them to New Orleans on a race pace. So they began to wonder, what are we going to do? How are we going to be able to keep up? Well, one enterprising young sailor recognized that they had a lot of cargo on the ship that would burn. And so he began to take the cargo, and they would take the cargo, and they're throwing it into the furnaces, and they're burning the cargo of the ship. And as they did this, they realized that they began to pull ahead. And all of a sudden, man, they're beating the other boat, and they're all excited because we're winning the race. The only problem is when they got to New Orleans, they recognized that they won the race, but they had no cargo to offload. You see, they forgot what was really important in life. That they got so fixated on a goal that they forgot the thing that was most important, which was to get to New Orleans with all of the cargo to be unloaded so they could get their pay. When Jesus was on the cross, Jesus never forgot the most important thing. And that is the people that he cared about. See, when Jesus was on the cross, we know, I think we know that intellectually the pain and the agony that Jesus was going through. And you can just imagine what the feeling of having nails driven through your hands, a nail driven through your feet, a crown of thorns crushed down on your head, the beatings that he had taken, the agony of having to have your arms extended and not being able to catch your breath. All of these things Jesus is experiencing. And if you've ever been through pain, it's hard to think about anything else. It is hard to think about anything else when you're experiencing pain. The only thing you can think about is just getting through this. But yet Jesus on the cross, as we've seen the last 2 weeks, and we're going to see the next 3 or 4 weeks, Jesus on that cross, not only is he making sure that he does what he's supposed to do, which is to give his life, but he's taking care of things. He's teaching. He's loving people. Even in that very last moments of his life. Jesus never forgot the cargo that he was carrying. John chapter 19, I'm going to start reading verse 25. Near the cross of Jesus stood his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother there, and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to her, "Woman, here is your son." Let me just say about the word woman. It bothered me for a long time that Jesus called his mom woman. I would just say that if I ever talked to my mom and said to her, "woman," it'd probably be the last thing I said. Maybe not anymore because I can outrun her. But when I was a child growing up, it would have been the last thing I said. Except for maybe, "Please don't kill me, Mom." That word woman, I know it doesn't sound like it. It's one of those things that doesn't translate to English very well. It's actually a term of endearment. So when Jesus says to her, "Woman, here is your son," he's not disrespecting her in any way. Very respectful, very loving, very tender. And to the disciple, "Here is your mother." From that time on, this disciple took her into his home. You know, we think about this story. We have to kind of remind ourselves of what's happening here. In the days of Jesus, the eldest son had the responsibility, when the father passed away, of making sure that mom was cared for. It was his responsibility, nobody else's. The eldest son had that responsibility. Jesus is the eldest son. And so he is taking responsibility for his mother. He is doing the things to take care of her. The Bible tells us that there were some women at the cross. You know, men, this passage ought to remind us of the courage and the strength of women. We don't know how many women followed Jesus around during his days of ministry. But we do know for sure that there were 12 guys that were with Jesus all the time, right? We call them the 12 disciples. Now we know that one of them left. One of them was the one that betrayed Jesus, so you can take him out. So let's just say there was 11 guys that were very close to Jesus. You notice how many are at the cross? There's one. But how many women? This verse tells us that there were at least 4 women that joined Jesus at the cross. And guys, this will tell you that women are courageous, they are strong, and we need to respect them. There's debate about some of these women, exactly who they are. His mother's sister might be Salome, the mother of the Apostle John, which would make Jesus and John first cousins. It's speculation. There's things that you can read to kind of put those into place and maybe say that that's the case. Mary, the wife of Clopas, may be the mother of James the Younger and of Joseph that you read about in Mark 15:40. But what's important about these women being here is simply this. These women are willing to stand there in support. Now, there were other people at the cross. There were other people besides John and these women that are mentioned here. There's other people at the cross, but all of the other people at the cross are there either to make sure that this happens or they're there to mock. There is a very small group of people that are there supporting and loving Jesus. Why is it so dangerous? Because in the eyes of the Romans, Jesus was a revolutionary. In the eyes of the religious leaders of the people of Israel, Jesus was a heretic. And there is a common punishment for both a revolutionary and a heretic. And it's death. But it is not death just to the person that does the crimes. Anybody who is associated with them is also liable to that penalty. At the very least, the very best that they can hope for is that the rest of their life, everybody is going to look down on them. Everybody is going to look at them and have this idea that you supported a heretic. You supported a revolutionary. And everywhere they go, people are going to watch them and have wonder about who is this person. They're going to be concerned that this is not a good person. And so these ladies being there are literally putting their life on the line. So you have to ask the question, why? Given the danger that they're putting themselves in, why would they come and be with Jesus? Be there to watch what is going to happen to him? Simple reason is they loved him. You know, devotion, love, and devotion to our family will make us do some strange things. Love for your family will cause you to get up in the middle of the night, get on a plane and fly from Washington to Texas because somebody has passed away. Love for your family will cause you to get up in the middle of the night and go wherever it is. You know, if our children call us in the middle of the night and say, "Dad, I need you," we're all going to jump and run. These women love Jesus so much that they are willing to go and to stand at the cross while Jesus is crucified. They're willing to stand there in support of someone that everyone is calling a revolutionary, a heretic, a common criminal worthy of death. And these women are willing to stand there and say, "We are here because we love Jesus." They're willing to stand there and to hear the abuse that is hurled upon Jesus. There is this incredible love for Jesus. Why do they love him so much? Well, now Mary, Jesus' mother, we can say she loves him because he's her son. And there'd be truth to that. But I think also you look at these others. Why did they love Jesus so much? They loved him because he had given meaning and purpose to their lives. He had rescued them from the clutches of the world and given them hope. He had given them a purpose, a reason to live. And so they wanted to be there. Now we have to ask ourselves, do we love Jesus this much? Do I love Jesus enough to stand with him? If I had been alive during the days of the crucifixion, would I have been standing there at the foot of the cross with John and the women? Or would I have been running and hiding? I'd sure love to say that, I know I would be standing at the cross with Jesus. But honestly, I'm not so sure. Jesus was willing to give his life for us. And these ladies were willing to be there. And then we read in these verses Jesus' words, "Woman, behold your son." Jesus, as the oldest son, we said earlier, has the responsibility to care for his mother. Jesus' father, Joseph, the earthly father of Jesus, had obviously passed away. And so Jesus was the one that had the responsibility to hand his son, or to take care of his mother throughout her years. When he says to her, "Woman," again, that's a term of endearment, a term of respect. And Jesus is making sure, in turning to John and saying, "Woman, here is your son. John, here's your mom." He's handing responsibility over to John and saying to John, "Take care of my mom all the days of her life. Make sure that she has a place to stay. Make sure that she has food. And take care of all of her physical needs." But here's the truth. There were some other guys that could have been and should have been given the responsibility when Jesus died. We know that Jesus had at least two brothers, half-brothers, one named James and one named Jude. Now we would assume that when Jesus was passing away, that responsibility would go probably to James. I think we believe that James was the next oldest brother, the first son of Joseph and Mary. And so we would say, doesn't it make sense that Jesus would pass responsibility not to somebody who's not in the immediate family? Why would he do that? Why would Jesus not give responsibility to physically take care of his mom to his younger brother? Because Jesus was thinking about more than physically taking care of his mom. You see, during the days of his life, Jesus' brothers were not his followers. The scriptures point that they did not believe during his life that Jesus was the Messiah. It's not until after his death and his resurrection that James becomes a follower of Jesus. And so when Jesus is saying to John, take my mom as your mom, care for her, nurture her, watch over her. He is saying not just physically do I want you to make sure that she has enough food, that she has shelter, that she has clothes, that she's taken care of physically. He is saying I want to make sure that spiritually you make sure that my mom is cared for. Because at that point in time, Jesus knew that James and his other brothers would not be able to take care of their mom and guide her and nurture her in her walk with Christ. And so he goes outside of the biological family to hand that responsibility over. I grew up very fortunate. Grew up with all of my family, almost all of my family living right here. You know, I jokingly said that for 20 years straight, I had at least one cousin that graduated from Sanger High School. Yes, I had a lot of cousins. There were many times that there was more than one cousin that graduated. You know, if we ever needed something, it's very simple. Mom or Dad would call one of my aunts or my uncles or one of my cousins, and whatever was needed was taken care of. You know, if for some reason Mom or Dad wasn't going to be able to be home when I got out of school, they would just call a cousin or an aunt and uncle and say, hey, can you get Grant after school and take care of him for a short time? Yeah, no problem. It's what family did. You know, I raised my children in an area where I couldn't call a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, and say, hey, can you take care of my kids? I was thinking about this last night. I remember when one of our houses was broken into during the daytime. I came home to the house, saw the back door was standing wide open. A window in our bedroom had been broken. Some things had been gone through. And I remember thinking, my first thought wasn't, crazily, it wasn't, I wonder if the person's still in here. My first thought was, I don't want my kids to see this. And so we called the police, they came, and as they were starting to do their investigation, taking fingerprints and all of that stuff, I realized that my daughter was going to be getting out of school and would be home before the police were finished. And I really didn't want her to see that, because I just didn't want her to see our house broken into like that. So I was thinking, what am I going to do? If I lived in Sanger, it would have been simple. I'd have called my mom and dad and said, hey, when are you going to need to go back and pick up Mackenzie from school? Let her hang out at the house for a couple of hours. We'll get everything fixed and taken care of. We'll call you and you can bring her back. But I didn't have anybody. At least I didn't think for a minute that I had anyone. Because then I remembered that I might not have had biological family in Renton, Washington. But I had family in Renton, Washington. I had a church family. And when I needed them, got on the phone, made a phone call. A member of my church said, yeah, no problem, Grant, we'll pick her up. I looked at the window and thought, man, what am I going to do? Well, just happened to know one of the guys in our church could do windows. Called him up, he said, yeah, I'm on my way. Got over, got the window fixed, everything taken care of. We need our spiritual family. We need our spiritual family as much as we need our biological family. And those of you that have your biological family living right here, in some ways you are blessed. But I'm going to tell you in other ways, you're not. Because you don't fully grasp the blessing of your spiritual family being able to come alongside you and take care of you. You know, when you get that phone call in the middle of the night, you get that phone call that we got a few years ago when my niece was killed in a car accident. You know, coming down, I knew that I knew all these things I was going to have to do. I knew that as soon as I got here that I was going to be having to minister to my family. I knew that I was going to be having to prepare a message to preach at my niece's funeral. I knew all of these things were going to be happening. But I also knew that somehow I had to get flights taken care of. I needed to have somebody that could preach for me the coming Sunday because I knew I wasn't going to be back. And I started thinking about all those things. And again, I thought, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Who's going to come and pick us up? Because I figured we're going to get an early morning flight. Who is going to come and pick us up and get us to the airport? And so my wife made one phone call to some people in our church. And she said, we need a flight to Dallas-Fort Worth. And we need it as quick as we can get it. And this one guy said, don't worry about it. Be taken care of. We'll let you know the information. And we'll have somebody come and pick you up in the morning. About 4 o'clock the next morning, somebody showed up at our door. They got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive us to the airport. That's what family does, right? That's what spiritual family does. In the days of Jesus, there wasn't welfare. There wasn't Social Security. The church took that responsibility. Jesus sets the example to the church to say, we must care for those who cannot care for themselves. Lessons for us to learn. Spiritual family is true and vital. Lone Ranger Christianity is not biblical. It drives me crazy when I talk to people and they say, oh, I'm a Christian, but I don't go to church. I keep going. I've read this book a number of times. I've read Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, Ephesians, and on all the way to Revelation. I've read that a lot of times. And the thing that keeps coming back to me is the people in the Scriptures who were the followers of Jesus, they always did it together. You cannot live the Christian life and not be part of the church. It's impossible. It really is. One, because there are specific commandments that you can't follow if you're not part of the body of Christ. We need our churches. Yes, our biological family is important. And I love my biological family. One of the things that I have enjoyed so much being back here is being able to see my cousins, be a part of their lives. And there are times when it's hard. You know, it's hard right now. We've got a cousin on my mom's side that is battling cancer. And that battle is drawing to a close. And it's hard to see a cousin that I've loved so much, a cousin that had always been strong, and to see him weakening. It's hard. It'd be easier if I lived 2,000 miles away and just came home for the funeral. But I'm so glad that I get to be a part of it. I'm so glad that I got to go out last week and sit with my cousin and just talk. Our biological family is important. But our spiritual family is even more important. We need each other. We also have a responsibility to our vulnerable members. We have a responsibility to serve those that cannot take care of themselves. You and I, not me. I'm going to be honest. It's not my responsibility to go make all of the visits to the hospital. It's not my responsibility to go visit all of those in our church who can't get out. I have a part of it. And so do you. Each and every one of us has a responsibility to love and to care for those in our congregation that cannot take care of themselves. Being a church with as many years as we have as a church, there are many in our congregation that simply cannot come on a Sunday morning. They can't get out. We call them homebound or shut-ins. Our deacons are working to make sure that visits are made to them. Our deacons, through their Connection Bible Study groups, have set up a ministry set up to make sure that when somebody's in the hospital that they're visited. When somebody has a crisis, that things are taken care of. And the deacons are working hard. But there's only so many of them. Every one of us has a responsibility to minister, to love, to care for those that can't be here on Sunday morning, to watch over and protect those that need it. If you're in a Bible study group on Sunday morning, you got to be asking your Bible study leader, is there someone that we can minister to? You know, what if our deacons were asked by every one of our Connection Bible Study classes, can we have 2 members of our church that are not able to come on Sunday morning? 2 members of our church that can't do the things around the house. You know, 2 members of our church that they can't mow their yard. And we have one class that does that. We have one class that any of our elderly that need their yard mowed, they're going to go take care of it. Reality is, sorry guys, but the members in that class, they're getting up in years. And there's going to be a time in the not too distant future where that class is probably not going to be able to take care of mowing yards. They're going to probably need somebody to come mow their yard. What if every one of our Connection Bible Study classes went to their deacons and said, give us as a class 2 or 3 people that we can go visit, that we can just adopt as grandma and grandpa, that we can love them, that we can care for them. I'll tell you, it would change our church. Because it's hard to be mad at those old people when you go sit down with them and you talk with them and you just love them. And you sit in their living room and you eat a cookie that they made for you and you drink hot chocolate or Coke or whatever it is that they're giving you that day. It's hard to be mad at them. And to our seniors, it's hard to be mad at the younger ones when they've come and they've sat in your house, or you sat on your porch and watched them mow your yard, just because they care about you. Jesus loved his mom so much that he didn't do the natural thing, which was to say to his mom, hey, listen, James is going to take care of you now. He loved his mom so much that he said, yes, I know James is going to do everything he can to take care of you. But Mom, right now, James cannot spiritually meet the needs that you're going to have. John is one of my followers. And so, Mom, John's going to take care of you. Let's be the church. It's what's said about us in the community is they take care of each other. They love each other. Oh yeah, they might fight every once in a while. They'll disagree on things. But you'll never, ever have to worry about will my needs be met if you're part of that church. Because they take care of each other. Not The biological family does it, but the spiritual family. As a church, we need to be known as a people that loves each other, a people that cares for each other, because it's the example that was set for us by Jesus. While he is hanging on a cross, experiencing agony that you and I can never comprehend, Jesus cared about his mom enough that he loved her and he took care of her needs. That is the God we serve, and that is the church that we need to be. Let's pray together. Our Father in heaven,